Want to see your athletes get faster, stronger, and race ready? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm going to give you some track workouts that have developed hundreds of state champions and finalists. It helped them, and it's going to help you too. Conditioning isn't a one-size-fits-all in track and field. The workouts that help a sprinter explode off the blocks aren't the same as those that build the endurance of a distance runner. Each event has its own conditioning needs, and training specifically for those needs can make a big difference in performance and help prevent burnout and injuries. And you don't want to do the same workouts early season, mid-season, and late season. There's a progression that needs to occur to make sure that your athletes reach peak performance when it matters the most. Let's break it all down. Before I show you the workouts, I need to emphasize that these are for in-season workouts, and they assume that the athlete is already in shape. If they're not, they need to get in shape so they can handle this type of workout. For that, I designed a 4-week preseason training program, and I left a link in the description below. I'm going to break these workouts down by event, and I'm also going to show you examples of early, mid, and late season workouts. It's going to be a lot, but don't worry, I'll leave a transcript in the description below. But for your 100 and 200 meter sprinters, this is what you can do for them in the first week. On day one, I'll call it Monday, you're going to want to have your group warm up, and that needs to include some dynamic mobility exercises and some light jogging. And you'll also want to do 3 sprints. I like to do them in progression from 50% to 70% to 90% of their maximum speed. And at this point, before the athletes get too tired, this is where they're going to want to do any specialty training they might do, like hurdlers and jumpers. Go do those specific events for about 30 to 45 minutes in their specialty areas, and then come back and do their conditioning. But for the conditioning workout on that first day, I recommend 12 200s at about an 800 meter pace. I know it's not very fast, but we're working on speed endurance early season, and the goal is to build up their speed endurance. So you want them to take the shortest rest that they can. And finish that with some core and stability training and also some mobility flexibility. On the second day of the week, we'll call it Tuesday, I recommend having the sprinters off the track and in the weight room or somewhere where they're working on strength and power. So on Wednesday of the first week, they're back at the track. Again, the group warm-up, the specialty coaching, but today's conditioning is different. They're going to do 14 sets of 30 meters, and they're going to do this at 80% of their top speed, only because it's early season and I don't like my athletes to go full speed too early. Also because they're so short and I don't want to do too much explosion off the line, we're going to do a rolling start into these. And they're going to want to take a long recovery, so a slow walk back for each, and don't take off for the next one until they feel fully refreshed. And again, finish with some core training and stretching. Day 4, it's back to the weight room for strength and power. And the 5th day, back on the track again for the warm-up, the specialty coaching, and the conditioning. Today it's going to be 11 150 meter sprints at an estimated 400 meter race pace. So a longer sprint, but at a medium pace. And because here they're working on speed endurance, you want to take only about a 1 to 2 minute recovery between each and keep it strict. So what's going to happen is the athletes for the first repetitions are going to feel like it's easy. And then midway through, this is going to start getting more challenging. But by the time you get to the end, it's going to be pretty tough to be able to take off again and maintain that speed. And as always, finish with some core training and stretching. Now this is an example of a mid-season workout where the athletes are starting to get in pretty good shape, so these are some of the more grueling ones. Now the workouts are still going to include all the things that I mentioned in the first week, like the warm-up and the specialty training and the cool-down, but so I don't get too redundant, I'm just going to show you the conditioning portions here. I like to take the athletes through 2-week cycles of training, so the type of workouts they do get different every 2 weeks. For this week of the season, we do what we call down and ups, where the length of each repetition is going down and then climb back up. So all of these are done at 400 meter pace, but they start out at 210 meters, 180 meters, 150, 120, 90, 60, 30, and then they climb back up. 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, and 210. So you can see how that could be physically and mentally challenging. For the midweek workout, it's the same concept of down and up, but now these are shorter and faster, working on speed. So it goes from 100 meters down to 40 meters, and then back up to 100 meters, but this time at 90% of their top speed. And the last workout of the week, again, similar concept, but this is now at 200-meter pace, but they're going from 140 meters down to 20 meters, and then back up to 140 meters. Now here's an example of the end of the season workout for the sprinters where they're already in great shape and fast, but we're starting to sharpen the saw, and you don't want them to be mentally or physically fatigued going into their meets. So for this 2-week cycle, we do what we call step downs, where you do the longest ones down to the shortest ones. You don't have to build back up this time. So here we're doing 400-meter pace. So we're starting with 300 meters and dropping by 30 meters each repetition. So it goes from 30 to 70 to 40, all the way down to 30 meters. On the midweek workout, same concept of the step downs, but again, these are the short, fast ones. We're doing them at 200-meter pace. We're going to start at 180 meters and drop down 20 meters until we get down to 20 meters. For the last workout of the week, we're running at 100-meter pace, so full speed, starting with 50-meter distance, dropping 5 meters each interval, and finishing with 5 meters. And if you'd like, you can do those with a rolling start. Now we're going to take a look at what a 200-400 runner should do. For the first week of the season, they're doing identical workouts as the 100-200 meter sprinters, so I'm not going to go through those for the sake of redundancy. But as each week goes on, they progress differently. By the time we get to mid-season, here's again a week 5 example. On Monday, they're doing the same down up. They're at 800-meter pace, starting with 350 meters, dropping down 50 meters each interval until they get to 50, and then climb their way back up to 300 meters. On Wednesday, again, we're working on speed. They're working at 90% of their top speed. They're going to start at 100 meters. They're going to drop 10 meters until they get down to 40 meters, and they're going to work their way back up to 100 meters. At the end of the week, they're now training at 400-meter pace. They're starting with 210 meters, and they're dropping 30 meters, so going 210, 180, 150, 120, all the way down to 30, and then working their way back up to 210 meters. Again, at the end of the season, where they're just trying to refine things, we're doing just a step down. So on Monday, they're doing their speed endurance work, working at 800-meter pace, starting with 500 meters, dropping 50 meters each repetition until they get down to 50 meters. On Wednesday, working at 400-meter pace, starting at 300 meters, dropping 30 meters all the way down until they get to 30 meters. And at the end of the week, now working on top speed, 50-meter pace, starting with 80 meters, dropping down 10 meters until they get to 10 meters. Again, they can do a rolling start. If you want to just jump ahead and get the 12-week program that I give my athletes, I'll leave a link for that also in the description below. Now for your 400, 800-meter types, things are quite different. Again, this is the first week of the season before they have a whole lot of speed behind them. But on Monday, they're going to do a 20-minute tempo run, followed by 4 sets of 10-second relaxed sprints. This also works out well if you want it to be one of those run the straights, walk the curves type workouts. On Wednesday, they're working on their speed. So now we're at 80% of their top speed with a rolling start, and they're doing 12 50-meter sprints with a nice slow walk back for recovery because you want them to be recovered between each interval. And at the end of the week, they're working at 800-meter pace, working on their speed endurance, doing 14 sets of 200 meters. Try to keep the recovery short. Again, it's going to feel easy at the beginning, then should feel pretty challenging in the middle, and very challenging to where they get to the last third of the repetitions. Now here we are in week 5, so the middle of the season, and the workouts are starting to be tougher. Again, in this cycle, we're going down and then up. So their Monday workouts are working out their 1-mile race pace, and they're starting with 700 meters, 600 meters, so they're dropping 100 meter each repetition until they get to 100 meters and then work their way back up. This is a pretty tough workout. For the midweek workout, working on their speed, going at 100-meter pace, starting at 90 meters, working their way down 15 meters until they get to 15 meters, and then working their way back up to 90 meters. And at the end of this week, now working at 800-meter race pace, 350 meters is the distance, dropping down 50 meters each repetition until they get to 50 meters and then work their way back up. Now here we are at the end of the season and the workouts are going step down so that they feel really fresh and ready to race. On the Monday, we'll do 1 mile race pace starting at 900 meters, drop down 100 meters each repetition. In the midweek, it's faster, working at 800 meter pace, starting at 500 meters, dropping 50 meters each repetition until we get to 50 meters. And at the end of the week, we're working on some speed at 100 meter pace, and the workout would be start at 120 meters and drop down 15 meters each time until they get down to 15 meters. Now for my distance runners, I treat them differently. Monday is where we do their longest running of the week, what some people call LSD running, and the goal is to challenge themselves to improve their endurance. On Tuesdays, we do recovery runs that we call 666. That's 6 minutes of easy paced running, followed by 6 minutes of tempo running and 6 minutes of some more easy paced running. And on these days, they would also join the rest of the team in the weight room. On Wednesdays, working on speed. In this first week, we're at 400 meter race pace, doing 11 sets of 150 meters with 1 to 2 minute recovery between each rep. Thursday is just like Tuesday with another recovery workout. And then Friday is back at the track. This time going at 2 mile race pace, 13 sets of 600 meters with only 1 minute recovery between each. Now here we are in the middle of the season. Again, on Mondays, their LSD day, same recovery day for Tuesday, but Wednesday is now looking at 400 meter pace, and they're also doing the step down and up at 400 meter pace, starting with 210 meters and dropping down to 180, 150, 120, all the way down to 30, and then build themselves back up from there. Thursday's another recovery run. Friday, we're back at the track running at mile race pace. And we're starting at 700 meters, dropping down 100 meters until you get to 100 meters, and then work your way back up to 700 meters. And now we're back to a sample of a late season workout. Again, Monday's the long day, Tuesday's the recovery day, Wednesday is at the track now, 400 meter race pace, just doing step downs, starting at 300 meters, dropping down 30 meters each repetition until we get to 30 meters. Thursday's another recovery run, and then Friday's workout, again, is at 1600 meter pace, starting at 900 meters, working your way down 100 meters until you get to 100 meters. I hope this helps. I know it was a lot, but again, if you just want to get my program, I left a link in the notes below. I also need to mention a new app that I'm developing that's coming out soon. In it, you'll be able to access and see videos of any drills that you need. You'll be able to get workouts that could be customized for your needs. And it'll also have an AI clone of me because I've uploaded it all of my content so it knows the way that I think and answer questions. So you'll have me in your back pocket 24/7 for all of your track and field questions. I'll also leave a link for that in the descriptions below. And if you'd like to learn more from me, I'm always putting out new videos. So subscribe to this channel, and also you can go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com. Until next video, Coach Ace out.